All right, well, we'll get this. All right, good afternoon, fourth graders. Third, how we doing? I did that last time, I think, too, didn't I? That's all right. Does everyone remember me?
Yeah.
Okay. This is Allison with North Central Iowa Ag in the Classroom. And I think I was just there a few weeks ago hanging out with you all, learning about agriculture. But this time our classroom looks a little bit different. Our classroom, as you can see, is right behind me. We are in a field corn area here. You can see that some of this field corn has already been harvested behind me. And everyone knows this is not sweet corn, right? Well, I've taught that to you, so you all should remember that, right? So we are in a field just a couple miles east of Iowa Falls, and the farmer that is going to be hosting our farm chat, his name is Trent Stalzer, and pretty soon I'm going to hand the headset over to him, and he will be leading the farm chat. And once we get going for a couple minutes, I'll type in the chat box that we can open this up to questions, and then your teachers can help type in the chat box what kind of questions you all have, and then I will ask them to Trent and he will get those answered, okay? All right, but first I want to show you the ride that we're going to be in today. There's our combine. That's our ride for this afternoon. We'll be climbing up in there shortly, okay? Isn't it a beautiful day today? Have you all had recess yet? It's a gorgeous day today. Beautiful day for combining corn. All right, now here's Trent, and I'm going to hand him the headset so that you could hear him, okay?
Okay, can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Good afternoon, I'm Trent Stalzer. I'm farm east of Iowa Falls, and today I'm going to talk about how we combine corn, how everything works, and then also you get to ride along with us and we'll combine a couple rounds. So what it does is we'll go over to the plant itself, and here's the stalk of corn and here's the ear of corn. And what it does when we run the combine through, okay, we'll take it over to the corn head and I'll just show you how it works. But there's the snouts, they go between the rows, and so your row actually is right here where your stalk goes. And what it does is it pulls the stalk into the head, and then it will actually pull the stalk down through, and then it'll pull the ear of corn off, and then it rides up, and the auger takes it then to the middle of the combine, and that's called the feeder house. And then the feeder house will take all the ears, and if there's leaves and possibly stalks, that'll go into the combine. And then that's where everything starts to, then there's like a big, it's a rotor inside the combine that it takes the kernels of corn off the cob, and then all the grain in that will go up into the tank up top on the combine, and then all the leaves and cobs and all of that go out the back of the combine and get spread out all over the ground. So now I guess we can get up into the combine, and we could actually start combining corn then, and I'll show you how that all works. And actually this corn head is a 12-row corn head, so we combine 12 rows at one time. So we got to turn the inside of the combine, all the separator and that off or on, and then also then there's a switch here that turns your head on, and then there's a throttle over here, and you got to speed the combine clear up, and then we can actually go forward. And so I lower the head down. So if there's any stalks that are, say, leaning over or close to the ground, we can get those ears of corn too.
He's doing this right now, you guys. Right now, he's in the field. This isn't like a movie. He's doing it right now live. You're in the combine with him.
Who said that?
Yes.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
And when we combine, we run, it depends on, I mean, how good it's yielding and I guess the conditions and that. We usually run about 4 miles an hour. So I know all of you kids have ridden in cars and that go 55 miles an hour, but we combine at 4 miles an hour. So if we, well, a combine for one thing does not go 55 miles an hour. Top speed is probably 20 miles an hour down the road when you're not combining. And so we combine about 4 miles an hour or 4.5, depends on the conditions and how dry it is. And so, yeah.
Where do you take this corn when it's harvested?
Okay, we take the corn after we combine it. Majority of the time we will haul it to and put it in our own storage into steel bins. Sometimes, you know, if we have some sold, say at the ethanol plant in Iowa Falls, we will put it on semis and just haul it right to the ethanol plant. And that's what we're using to haul out of the field is semis, because it's faster and safer. Yeah.
Talk about your yield monitor a little bit.
The yield monitor we have in here will show what the running yield is and the moisture and the acres that we've combined, and then also the wet bushels or wet weight, and then it shows the dry bushels too. And a bushel of corn weighs 56 pounds, and that is at 15.5% moisture. So I mean, you want it dry enough that you don't have to actually run it through a dryer when you get it to the farm. But sometimes corn doesn't dry down, and then you have to use a dryer. And this isn't like a closed dryer. It's actually a dryer that's manufactured or made to dry corn down. And you use either natural gas as the heat source or liquid propane. And we use liquid propane, LP. And what it does is there's like a fire in the dryer, and then we have fans in there that blows the heat through the corn to dry it down. So that's how, and then we have an air system that takes it from the dryer and blows it to our bins on the farm. So has anybody ridden in a combine before?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
I actually enjoy running the combine just to, I mean, you plan everything in the spring, and this is kind of the reward at the end of the year to see if, you know, how everything's turns out. And I mean, you're hoping for a big yield at the end, but you never, I guess you don't always get a big yield. A lot of it depends on Mother Nature and heat and moisture and rain and just weather, you know, overall. You're hoping that you don't get tornadoes or hail during the growing season, just because that will affect the yield that you get at the end of the year. So
How much is corn going for right now, a bushel?
corn right now, you can, I haven't checked today. I think last it was at the ethanol plant was, it was like $6.61. So $6.61 for a bushel. So, yeah. And so now my sister, she's in the tractor with, that's what you call a grain cart. It's almost like a wagon, but it has an auger on it. And now we're going to actually still be combining corn, but we're going to be dumping the corn out of the grain tank off the combine onto the grain cart. And we do that way the combine never has to stop on the end of the field to say dump on the semis or a wagon if you're using wagons. That way you can get a lot more combined in a day if you just keep the combine running. And then when we get to the end of the field, then my sister, she takes the grain cart and she dumps the corn out of it onto the semis. And then my dad takes the semis to the farm, and then that's where the rest of the process starts. Is he'll dump it into an auger there, and then it gets put into a bin that augers it into the dryer to dry the corn down. So it's quite a process. From, it's just not combining corn, it's from combining to dumping on the grain cart, to dumping on a semi, to dumping in an auger to a wet bin, and then that gets augered into a dryer. So there's a lot of different aspects to the whole harvesting grain.
Field that we're in now.
The field that we're in, it is 156 acres. So it's a pretty good sized field. And an acre is 43,560 square feet. So there's a lot of square feet in this field. Yeah, yep. So we're not to the end of the field yet. The unload auger on this combine unloads faster than we can take corn in. So we dump until the grain tank's empty, and then we then we'll start dumping into the grain cart towards the end again. Does anybody else have any questions?
That's how many parts does a combine have?
You might have to come up here.
What? Yeah, they're actually talking into the mic.
How many parts does a combine have?
Oh, how many parts does a combine have? Oh, there is thousands of different parts, and they all have to move at the same time to make it work to harvest corn or harvest soybeans. But today we're harvesting corn, so there's so many parts. Yeah.
How much
What-
days?
Hang on.
What was that?
Who said it? Who was starting to talk?
Oh,
Jay.
how much days will it take to harvest?
How many days will it take to harvest?
How many days will it take to harvest? We usually can harvest between 50 and 100 acres a day. And so like this field that we're in right now, there's only about 36 acres left. So we'll finish this today. But we've got, before we started this morning, we've got a little over 700 acres. So it'll still take us, just say 7 to 10 days probably to harvest everything that we've got left.
7 days. How 7 to 10 days. How long does it take to harvest?
We just talked about that. We just talked about that.
What is the
Ellie, what else?
They do it for a day.
How long during the day can you go, or how long?
How
you go
long can
for
we
it?
combine?
Yeah. A day.
Normally, we might start at say 10 o'clock in the morning, and we'll run until, depending on our, wet bin capacity, we might run, until 9 o'clock at night. So yeah, we run between, just say about 12 hours a day. And after that, everybody's about ready for a break anyway. So
I would make him tired.
you wouldn't think that running a combine, you're sitting in a seat all day long. You wouldn't think it'd get tiring, but it does.
Just like any job.
Yep, exactly. But I mean, you're sitting here, you're running the steering wheel, you're running the hydrostat to make it go forward and back. You're always, your eyes and that are all over the place, checking to make sure everything's running right and there's no problems. And so, yeah, yep, it gets tiring after a while, but I love what I do though as a farmer. Is there any more questions?
So how much gas do you go through in a day?
Actually, we don't run gas through this. We actually run diesel fuel, but we will, we'll probably run through 100 gallons of diesel fuel a day.
So
Just
that
in the
gets-
combine.
So that gets,
And then, go ahead.
that gets expensive.
Yes, it does. It does, because I mean, you have fuel going through the combine, you have fuel with the tractor and grain cart, you have fuel going through 3 semis. So yeah, we go through quite a bit of fuel every day.
What's he got?
Emmett,
How many acres of field do you disturb?
so like how many?
Yeah, they asked how many like acres is a normal field, but I know that varies. But how many acres do you have?
Okay, how many acres do we have? We've got, between my wife and myself and my mom and dad, we farm about 2,400 acres. And probably, I would say a little over half of that is corn and the other half is beans.
Okay.
And I mean, like our fields, you know, size wise, they vary from, I've got one that's like 44 acres, but then we've also got fields that are 200 acres in a field. So they just vary.
Okay. Gabe? Can a combine be dangerous?
Yes, it can. There's a lot of moving parts on a combine and corn head, and yes, you gotta read the manual and stay away from moving parts, and yes, it can be very dangerous. Just like any piece of equipment.
How many combines work in the field?
Oh, like these guys? How many combines do you have working in a field at a time?
We've just got one. Yep.
Okay.
Just because, I mean, we only have so much manpower, and to get the grain away from a 12-row corn head takes quite a few semis to get the grain away from the combine and the grain cart. And so, yeah, we just run one combine.
Okay. All right, Mrs. Rule, did you have a question?
I did. I was curious as a teacher if reading and math are important as a farmer.
Yes, it is very important. I mean, you have to, the question was, is reading and math important to a farmer? And yes, it is. I mean, you have to read manuals to learn how to, you know, run a piece of equipment, and you have to use math to, you know, figure out your, say you got so much weight of grain, you have to divide it. So your division, you have to like subtract acres to know how many acres you got left, or you have to say add bushels or acres to know how much, you know, how many bushels you've combined in a day, or how many acres you got left, or how many acres you've combined. And so, yeah, it is very important, math and reading, to a farmer.
We better study, boys and girls, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. So is there any more questions?
Who's this little guy of yours?
Yeah.
Oh, how big is the field you're doing right now?
It's 156 acres.
Yep.
Right. Yep. So it's a pretty good sized field.
Caleb?
Oh, the field's on fire.
Oh, what if the field's on fire, or have you ever had a fire in the field?
Yes. Question is if the field's on fire, or if we've ever had a field on fire. And Okay, yes, we have had a field on fire before. That started from, we had a pile of wood and that we had burned like a week or so before that. And the wind came up and threw sparks off that. And yeah, it got into standing corn. And you call 911 and your heart's beating about 5 million pumps a second, and you're just going like crazy, and fire department gets there. I know we had a disc on a tractor, and I was just going right out through the standing corn and trying to, get a barrier of dirt and that, so it wouldn't keep spreading. But the bad thing is the wind was blowing so hard that day, it just kept going, and it actually went clear across a 160 acre field.
Oh.
And yeah, you talk about
That is
not being in good humor after that. You know,
That's-
you just
That's a
You-
lot.
you spend a whole year, and then it goes up in flames, and then all the ears of corn are laying on the ground, and yeah, you can't do anything about it. So yeah, it's pretty sad.
Ellie. Oh. Elle.
same stuff like a
So they asked if you had just a little bit of a field left and you got done like at 7 o'clock at night, would you go start somewhere else?
Okay, the question was if we had like a little patch left and we got done at 7 at night, would we go to another field? It just depends on, I mean, if we're say tired and just say, we're not going to start another one, or it depends on if we want to actually, if we still have room in the bin. That kind of depends too on if we're going to start another field or not.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. What do you got?
how long is that?
Oh, how long does it take you to do like 1 acre?
Oh, question was how long does it take to do 1 acre? Not very long with a 12-row corn head. And it depends to the size of the field. The bigger the field, the less time it takes to do. I mean, like the field we're in right now, just one pass clear across the field, which these are half-mile long rows. So then it doesn't take very long to get 1 acre done.
It's easier to go straight down a row, but when they have to turn, it probably takes a little more time.
Yep, it does.
Okay, Enrique. What do you mean? You mean like ears of corn? In what? Like,
How many
Like
dots? Yeah.
like that goes like in the wagon, maybe? Do you know how many ears of corn would be able to fit in the wagon?
Oh, question is how many ears of corn would fit in a wagon?
Or I guess it's
Okay, well, it'd be like bushels.
right.
So our grain cart is, it'll hold 1,100 bushels of grain. So like on corn, you would take 1,100 bushels times 56 pounds, and that would tell you how many pounds
Right.
how many pounds would fit in the grain cart.
I think, yeah.
So
that
it's
means a lot of
it's kind of hard. Yeah, it's kind of hard to say, how many ears of corn.
Right.
So I guess I just kind of told you in a bushels or a
Right.
weight perspective. Yeah. Yep.
A lot, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, you can just see it running into the wagon from there too, so.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Oh, is the combine? Someone asked, is the combine bigger than a school? Well, our school is just 2 floors, so.
Yeah. Nope. The question was if is a combine bigger than a school? Nope, it's not bigger than a school.
Was she here when we went to Ag Fair?
Leslie, no.
Oh, okay, because then they got to see,
Yeah.
they got to see when
Yep.
there wasn't there.
Yeah,
that-
you can see inside the cab, and yeah, I mean there's just room for 2 people.
But you can see how high up he is too.
Any more questions?
Yeah, but how much time do you have?
How much time do we have left? About, okay, it's 2:02 right now, so
Yeah. Maybe one more?
yeah, one more question would be fine.
All right, Clay. Oh, how much did your combine cost?
How much does a combine cost? Well, a brand new combine is probably $500,000. This combine was a used combine when we bought it, and it was $350,000. So yeah, quite a bit of money.
Major investment.
Yes, it is. It is.
That's why you guys have to read the manual so it doesn't break down.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Well, what a beautiful day to be out in the field.
Oh, it is. Yep. We'll take all of these kind of days we can get right now.
Just put your hands
Yep.
on. Let's let him finish.
Yeah. So let's see then. Do you? Okay. Well, I'm going to pass the headset back to Allison, but I thank you guys a lot for farming with us today. And so, but I will give it back to her. So thank you.
Thank you. Allison's going to talk it, Enrique. Hang on.
All right, what'd you all think of that?
Awesome.
Did you enjoy the farm chat today? Thumbs up, anything?
Yeah, loved it.
Oh, good. Wonderful. Well, that's it for our Harvest Farm Chat. Thanks for joining us again. Hope you all have a great rest of your day at school and have a good weekend too. And happy Halloween as well. So we'll catch you next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.